section 2.4 through 2.6. 2.4, seeing. To be a safe driver, you need to know what is going on all around your vehicle. Not looking properly is a major cause of accidents. 2.4.1, seeing ahead. All drivers look ahead, but many do not look far enough ahead. Importance of looking far enough ahead. Because stopping or changing lanes can take a lot of distance, knowing what the traffic is doing on all sides of you is very important. You need to look well ahead to make sure you have room to make these moves safely. How far ahead to look? Most good drivers look at least 12 to 15 seconds ahead. That means looking ahead of the distance you will travel in 12 to 15 seconds. At lower speeds, that is about 1 block. At highway speeds, it is about a quarter of a mile. If you are not looking that far ahead, you may have to stop too quickly or make quick lane changes. Looking 12 to 15 seconds ahead does not mean not paying attention to things that are closer. Good drivers shift their attention back and forth near and far. Figure 2.6 illustrates how far to look ahead. 12 to 15 seconds is about 1 block. 12 to 15 seconds is about a quarter mile. Look for traffic. Look for vehicles coming onto the highway, into your lane or turning. Watch for brake lights from slowing vehicles. By seeing these things far enough ahead, you can adjust your speed or change lanes if necessary to avoid a problem. If a traffic light has been green for a long time, it will probably change before you get there. Start slowing down and be ready to stop. Road conditions. Look for hills and curves, anything for which you will have to slow or change lanes. Pay attention to traffic signals and signs. Traffic signs may alert you to road conditions where you may have to change speed. 2.4.2. Seeing to the sides and rear. It is important to know what is going on behind and to the sides of you. Check your mirrors regularly. Check more often in special situations. Every California registered motor vehicle must have at least 2 mirrors, including one attached to the left-hand side and located to give a clear view of the roadway to the rear for a distance of at least 200 feet. Both left and right-hand rear view mirrors are required on a motor vehicle that is constructed or loaded to obscure the driver's view to the rear, or is towing a vehicle or load that blocks the view. How to use mirrors. Use mirrors correctly by checking them quickly and understanding what you see. When using your mirrors while driving on the road, check them quickly. Look back and forth between the mirrors and the road ahead. Do not focus on the mirror for too long, otherwise you will travel quite a distance without knowing what is happening ahead. Many large vehicles have curved convex fisheye spot bug-eye mirrors that show a wider area than flat mirrors. This is often helpful. However, everything appears smaller in a convex mirror than it would if you were looking at it directly. Things also seem farther away than they really are. It is important to realize this and to allow for it. Figure 2.7 shows the field of vision using a convex mirror. Mirror adjustment. Mirror adjustment should be checked prior to the start of any trip and can only be checked accurately when the trailers are straight. You should check and adjust each mirror to show some part of the vehicle. This will give you a reference point for judging the position of the other images. Regular checks. Make regular checks of your mirrors to be aware of traffic and to check your vehicle. Traffic. Check your mirrors for vehicles on either side and behind you. In an emergency, you may need to know whether you can make a quick lane change. Use your mirrors to spot overtaking vehicles. There are blind spots that your mirrors cannot show you. Check your mirrors regularly to know where other vehicles are around you and to see if they move into your blind spots. Check your vehicle. Use the mirrors to keep an eye on your tires. It is one way to spot a tire fire. If you are carrying open cargo, you can use the mirrors to check it. Look for loose straps, ropes, or chains. Watch for a flapping or ballooning tarp. Special situations. Special situations require more than regular mirror checks. These are lane changes, turns, merges, and tight maneuvers. Lane changes. Check your mirrors to make sure no one is alongside or about to pass you. Check your mirrors before you change lanes to make sure there is enough room. After you've signaled to check that no one has moved into your blind spot. Right after you start the lane change to double check that your path is clear. After you complete the lane change. Turns. In turns, check your mirrors to make sure the rear of your vehicle will not hit anything. Merges. When merging, use your mirrors to make sure the gap in traffic is large enough for you to enter safely. Tight maneuvers. Anytime you are driving in close quarters, check your mirrors often. Make sure you have enough clearance. 2.5 Communicating. 2.5.1 Signal your intentions. Other drivers cannot know what you are going to do until you tell them. Signaling what you intend to do is important for safety. Here are some general rules for signaling. Turns. There are 3 good rules for using turn signals. Number 1, signal early. Signal well before you turn. It is the best way to keep others from trying to pass you. Number 2, signal continuously. You need both hands on the wheel to turn safely. Do not cancel the signal until you have completed the turn. Number 3, cancel your signal. Do not forget to turn off your turn signal after you have turned, if you do not have self-canceling signals. Note, for information on vehicles that must be equipped with lamp turn signal systems and 2-stop lamps, see CVC 24951 and 24600. Lane changes. Put your turn signal on before changing lanes. Change lanes slowly and smoothly. That way, a driver you did not see may have a chance to honk their horn or avoid your vehicle. Slowing down. Warn drivers behind you when you see you will need to slow down. A few light taps on the brake pedal, enough to flash the brake lights, should warn following drivers. Use the 4-way emergency flashers for times when you are driving very slowly or are stopped. Warn other drivers in any of the following situations. Trouble ahead. The size of your vehicle may make it hard for drivers behind you to see hazards ahead. If you see a hazard that will require slowing down, warn the drivers behind by flashing your brake lights. Tight turns. Most car drivers do not know how slow you have to go to make a tight turn in a large vehicle. Give drivers behind you warning by braking early, slowly, and gradually. Stopping on the road. Truck and bus drivers sometimes stop in the roadway to unload cargo or passengers, or to stop at a railroad crossing. Warn following drivers by flashing your brake lights. Do not stop suddenly. Driving slowly. Drivers often do not realize how fast they are catching up to a slow vehicle until they are very close. If you must drive slowly, alert following drivers by turning on your emergency flashers if it is legal. Laws regarding the use of flashers differ from one state to another. Check the laws of the states where you will drive. Do not direct traffic. Some drivers try to help out others by signaling when it is safe to pass. You should not do this. It could cause an accident. You could be blamed, and it could cost you many thousands of dollars. 2.5.2 Communicating your presence. Other drivers may not notice your vehicle even when in plain sight. To help prevent accidents, let them know you are there. Whenever you are about to pass a vehicle, pedestrian, or bicyclist, assume they do not see you. They could suddenly move in front of you. When it is legal, tap the horn lightly, or at night, flash your lights from low to high beam and back. Drive carefully enough to avoid an accident, even if they do not hear or see you. When it is hard to see, at dawn, dusk, in rain or snow, you need to make yourself easier to see. If you are having trouble seeing other vehicles, other drivers will have trouble seeing you. Turn on your lights. Use the headlights, not just the identification or clearance lights. Use the low beams, high beams. Use the low beams. High beams can bother people in the daytime as well as at night. When parked at the side of the road, when you pull off the road and stop, be sure to turn on the 4-way emergency flashers. This is important at night. Do not trust the tail lights to give warning. Drivers have crashed into the rear of a parked vehicle because they thought it was moving normally. If you must stop on a road or the shoulder of any road, you must put out your emergency warning devices within 10 minutes. Place your warning devices at the following locations. Number 1, if you must stop on or by a one-way or divided highway, place warning devices 10 feet, 100 feet, and 200 feet toward the approaching traffic. See figure 2.8. Number 2, if you stop on a 2-lane road carrying traffic in both directions or on an undivided highway, place warning devices within 10 feet of the front or rear corners to mark the location of the vehicle and 100 feet behind and ahead of the vehicle on the shoulder or in the lane you stopped in. See figure 2.9. Back beyond any hill. Number 3, back beyond any hill curve, or other obstruction that prevents other drivers from seeing the vehicle within 500 feet. If line of sight view is obstructed due to hill or curve, move the rearmost triangle to a point back down the road so warning is provided. See figure 2.10. When putting out the triangles, hold them between yourself and the oncoming traffic for your own safety so other drivers can see you. Use your horn when needed. Your horn can let others know you are there. It can help to avoid an accident. Use your horn when needed. However, it can startle others and be dangerous when used unnecessarily. 2.6. Controlling your speed. Driving too fast is a major cause of fatal accidents. You must adjust your speed depending on driving conditions. These include traction, curves, visibility, traffic, and hills. 2.6.1. Stopping distance. Perception distance plus reaction distance plus braking distance equals total stopping distance. Perception distance. This is the distance your vehicle travels in ideal conditions from the time your eyes see a hazard until your brain recognizes it. Keep in mind, certain mental and physical conditions can affect your perception distance. It can be affected greatly depending on visibility and the hazard itself. The average perception time for an alert driver is 1 3/4 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, this accounts for 142 feet traveled. Reaction distance. This is the distance you will continue to travel in ideal conditions before you physically hit the brakes in response to a hazard seen ahead. The average driver has a reaction time of 3/4 second to 1 second. At 55 miles per hour, this accounts for 61 feet traveled. Braking distance. This is the distance your vehicle will travel in ideal conditions while you are braking. At 55 miles per hour on dry pavement with good brakes, it can take about 216 feet. Total stopping distance. The total minimum distance your vehicle has traveled in ideal conditions with everything considered, including perception distance, reaction distance, and braking distance, until you can bring your vehicle to a complete stop. At 55 miles per hour, your vehicle will travel a minimum of 419 feet. Figure 2.11 shows the American football field in using distance. Effect of speed on stopping distance. The faster you drive, the greater the impact of striking power. The greater the impact or striking power of your vehicle. When you double your speed from 20 to 40 miles per hour, the impact is 4 times greater. The braking distance is also 4 times longer. Triple the speed from 20 to 60 miles per hour, and the impact and braking distance is 9 times greater. At 60 miles per hour, your stopping distance is greater than the length of an American football field. Increase the speed to 80 miles per hour, and the impact and braking distance are 16 times greater than at 20 miles per hour. High speeds greatly increase the severity of accidents and stopping distances. By slowing down, you can reduce braking distance. Effect of vehicle weight on stopping distance. The heavier the vehicle, the more work the brakes must do to stop it, and the more heat they absorb. The brakes, tires, springs, and shock absorbers on heavy vehicles are designed to work best when the vehicle is fully loaded. Empty trucks require greater stopping distances because an empty vehicle has less traction. Control and stopping requirements. The service brake must hold the vehicle or combination of vehicles stationary on any grade on which it is operated under all conditions of loading or unloading. The service brakes of every motor vehicle or combination of vehicles must be capable of stopping from an initial speed of 20 miles per hour as follows. Maximum stopping distance MSD in feet. Passenger vehicle 25 MSD. Single motor vehicle with a manufacturer's GVWR of less than 10,000 pounds 30 MSD. Single motor vehicle with a manufacturer's GVWR of 10,000 pounds or more, or any bus 40 MSD. Combination of vehicles consisting of a passenger vehicle or any motor vehicle with a manufacturer's GVWR of less than 10,000 pounds in combination with any trailer, semi-trailer, or trailer coach 40 MSD. All other combinations of vehicles 50 MSD. 2.6.2 Matching speed to the road surface. You cannot steer or brake a vehicle unless you have traction. Traction is friction between the tires and the road. Some road conditions reduce traction and call for lower speeds. Slippery surfaces. It will take longer to stop and it will be harder to turn without skidding when the road is slippery. Wet roads can double stopping distance. You must drive slower to be able to stop in the same distance as on a dry road. Reduce speed by about 1/3. For example, slow from 55 to about 35 miles per hour on a wet road. On packed snow, reduce speed by a half or more. If the surface is icy, reduce speed to a crawl and stop driving as soon as you can safely do so. Identifying slippery surfaces. Sometimes it is hard to know if the road is slippery. Here are some signs of slippery roads. Shaded areas. Shady parts of the road will remain icy and slippery long after open areas have melted. Bridges. When the temperature drops, bridges will freeze before the road will. Be especially careful when the temperature is close to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Melting ice. Slight melting will make ice wet. Wet ice is much more slippery than ice that is not wet. Black ice. Black ice is a thin layer that is clear enough that you can see the road underneath it. It makes the road look wet. Anytime the temperature is below freezing and the road looks wet, watch out for black ice. Vehicle icing. An easy way to check for ice is to open the window and feel the front of the mirror support, or antenna. If there is ice on these, the road surface is probably starting to ice up. Just after rain begins. Right after it starts to rain, the water mixes with oil left on the road by vehicles. This makes the road very slippery. If the rain continues, it will wash the oil away. Hydroplaning. In some weather, water or slush collects on the road. When this happens, your vehicle can hydroplane. It is like water skiing. The tires lose their contact with the road and have little or no traction. You may not be able to steer or brake. You can regain control by releasing the accelerator and pushing the clutch. This will slow your vehicle and let the wheels turn freely. If the vehicle is hydroplaning, do not use the brakes to slow down. If the drive wheels start to skid, push in the clutch to let them turn freely. It does not take a lot of water to cause hydroplaning. Hydroplaning can occur at speeds as low as 30 miles per hour if there is a lot of water. Hydroplaning is more likely if tire pressure is low or tread is worn. The grooves in a tire carry away the water. If the grooves are not deep, they do not work well. Road surfaces where water may collect can create conditions that cause a vehicle to hydroplane. Watch for clear reflections, tire splashes, and raindrops on the road. These are indications of standing water. 2.6.3 Speed and curves. Drivers must adjust their speed for curves in the road. If you take a curve too fast, two things can happen. The tires can lose their traction and continue straight ahead, so you skid off the road. Or the tires may keep their traction and the vehicle rolls over. Slow to a safe speed before you enter a curve. Braking in a curve is dangerous because it is easier to lock the wheels and cause a skid. Slow down is needed. Do not ever exceed the posted speed limit for the curve. Be in a gear that will let you accelerate slightly in the curve. This will help you keep control. 2.6.4 Speed and distance ahead. You should always be able to stop within the distance you can see ahead. Fog, rain, or other conditions may require that you slow down to be able to stop in the distance you can see. At night, you cannot see as far with low beams as you can with high beams. Slow down when you must use low beams. 2.6.5 Speed and traffic flow. When you are driving in heavy traffic, the safest speed is the speed of other vehicles. Vehicles going the same direction at the same speed are not likely to run into one another. In California, speed limits are lower for trucks and buses than for cars. It can vary as much as 15 miles per hour. Use extra caution when you change lanes or pass on these roadways. Drive at the speed of the traffic if you can without going at an illegal or unsafe speed. Keep a safe following distance. The main reason drivers exceed speed limits is to save time. Anyone trying to drive faster than the speed of traffic will not be able to save much time. The risks involved are not worth it. If you go faster than the speed of other traffic, you will have to keep passing other vehicles. This increases the chance of an accident and it is more tiring. Fatigue increases the chance of an accident. Going with the flow of traffic is safer and easier. 2.6.6 Speed on downgrades. Your vehicle's speed will increase on downgrades because of gravity. Your most important objective is to select and maintain a speed that is not too fast for the total weight of the vehicle and cargo, length of the grade, steepness of the grade, road conditions, and weather. If a speed limit is posted or there is a sign indicating maximum safe speed, never exceed the speed shown. Also look for and heed warning signs indicating the length and steepness of the grade. You must use the braking effect of the engine as the principal way of controlling your speed on downgrades. The braking effect of the engine is greatest when it is near the governed RPMs and the transmission is in the lower gears. Save your brakes so you will be able to slow or stop as required by road and traffic conditions. Shift your transmission to a lower gear before starting down the grade and use the proper braking techniques. Carefully read the information on going down steep downgrades safely in subsections 2.16 mountain driving in this handbook. 2.6.7 Roadway Work Zones. Speeding traffic is the #1 cause of injury and death in roadway work zones. Observe the posted speed limits at all times when approaching and driving through a work zone. Watch your speedometer and do not allow your speed to creep up as you drive through long sections of road construction. Decrease your speed for adverse weather or road conditions. Decrease your speed even further when a worker is close to the roadway. 2.6.8 Overtaking or following another vehicle. You may not overtake and pass another vehicle which is moving at less than 20 miles per hour on a grade outside a business or residential district unless you can pass that vehicle at least 10 miles per hour faster than it is traveling, and the pass can be completed within 1/4 mile. You must not follow the vehicles listed below any closer than 300 feet. The rule does not apply during overtaking and passing when there are 2 or more lanes for traffic in each direction or in a business or residential district. A motor truck or truck tractor having 3 or more axles. Any motor truck or truck tractor towing any other vehicle. A passenger vehicle or bus towing any other vehicle. A school bus transporting any school pupil. A farm labor vehicle when transporting passengers. A vehicle transporting explosive. A trailer bus. When large vehicles are being driven in caravan on the open highway, at least 100 feet must be left between them to allow other vehicles to overtake and pass them.